from this computer. Got it. All right, everybody. Hi, and welcome. Sorry, my camera is not working. I'm Christy from Johnstone Supply. We're going to be doing a iWave training seminar. It's going to be brought to you by New Calgon and our vendor rep, Kim Colclature. Basically, Kim is my go-to for any questions you guys might have. He is the resident expert on all things New Calgon and an all-around nice guy. So, Kim, take it away.
Thank you. Let me get rolling here. Just give me 1 minute. Can everybody see the presentation on their screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you, Christy, for putting this presentation on today. Kim and New Calgon, I've been here 15 years, and it's a very interesting time we're dealing with right now, so everybody's doing a lot of Zoom. But anyway, regard to this is called a wave product for targeted for indoor air quality, and we go through the presentation. And at any time, we can talk about anything you want. Because when I was in school, in high school, or junior high, they say wait to questions at the end. By then I forgot. So we can go answer your questions on the way through, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. And we talk about, at the end, we talk about sales. I got my email, my phone number. And at the end, we go through it. I can send anybody any literature, anything they want. We get into that. Thank you. First of all, GPS by New Calgon. We're going to discuss the Wave product line, the Wave R, which is a 6-ton. Then the Wave C, which is commercial, and the Wave M. Then after that, how to sell the Wave product line for residential and commercial. I've been selling this about 2.5 years now, and a good friend of mine I live in Thousand Oaks, California. He lives about 5 miles away. He has a company, and they have about 20 techs. So when he first got into this, I went to some of the residential customers that has to help sell the product. And we help formulate how to sell the product to the residential market and the commercial market. And technology is called needlepoint bipolar ionization. What is the technology? Positive and negative ions. For example, the Wave C and the R have two brushes. One's going to emit negative ions, and one's going to emit positive ions. And the ions go out to conditioned space of the house or commercial, and they address pathogens, allergens, odors, and particulate. And needlepoint ionization. Have anybody installed the air scrubber or APCO products like that? A couple of these products have been out. It's called Oasis, air scrubber, APCO. They've been out for about 10 years, and they use PCO technology, which is photocatalytic oxidation. And they use hydrogen peroxide to clean the conditioned space. But needlepoint bipolar ionization, we just use ions. And you don't have replacement parts or bulbs or anything to change out. We get into cleaning the air naturally. Ions, have you ever been around an electrical storm? It produces so many ions that fuse clean and nice. Occasionally, I like to go to the beach. With my wife, we take walks along the beach and talk. Even being around the beach, fuse clean and nice because all the ions produced by the ocean, and just like a waterfall. So everywhere we go in the world, there's ions produced. Like we're talking about the beach, 5,000 ions produced constantly. Forests, 4,000. When you get into the city, there's less ions because there's so much going on in regard to VOCs, traffic, pollutants. And inside buildings, you got 100 ions. So when you get in like buildings where it's exact space and there's not too much going on with air and everything, you get less ions. And actually, the Wave product or in ions is new technology versus the old technology, and it's best approach for indoor air quality treatment today. We don't produce any ozone, and the thing about it, we address 4 things that go into conditioned space constantly. Pathogens, which would be bacterial, mold, viruses, like in a residential home or commercial building, you have in the evaporator pan evaporator, you have dirty sock syndrome, that's bacteria. We clean all that, and also too, bacteria, mold, ions, we're effective on coronaviruses and pathogens. And then we get into VOCs, which would be commercial VOCs and residential. We clean all that up. And then we got allergens, which are going to be dirt, dust, smoke, pollen, all that's cleaned up. And also particular, like when you open your drapes at home, open your drapes, you can see dirt and dust. It cleans all that up. And when the byproduct of all this stuff is cleaned up in your house, it's either water vapor or carbon dioxide. And there's, like I said, there's no replacement parts like bulbs. Bipolar ionization addresses, I'm sorry?
Sorry to interrupt, Kim. What's the life expectancy of one of these products?
Good question, thank you. The life expectancy of the Wave R, M, and C, it should last 10 to 15 years as long as the equipment, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And then we got a 3-year warranty. That's that way if XYZ company's technician goes out and installs it at Mrs. Jones' house, and a year later Mrs. Jones doesn't like it, doesn't think it's working, take it back. And then Johnstone, we bought it from Johnstone, they would credit you and we would credit them. No questions asked. We want to make everybody happy and do the job.
Cool, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Bipolar ionization addresses the following. Kills mold, bacteria, virus in the breathing zone, which is going to be the conditioned space. Reduces allergens in the breathing zone. Pet odors, cooking odors, particles, smoke in the living space, electricity. My home is 1,600 square feet, 3 bedrooms. I got 2 little, I'm just kind of elaborating on what we have here. I got 2 dogs. One of my little guys went to the restroom one time and cleared up the urine smell, dog hair, cleans up restroom smells in the conditioned space, cooking smells, everything. VOCs, the whole 9. Then healthcare professionals consider VOCs as particulates for key triggers for the following: asthma, allergies, bronchitis, and emphysema. So it triggers these problems. Then we get in ionization, can break down chemicals. Xylene, styrene, ammonia, ethyl alcohol, formaldehyde. I'll give you an example of what we did about 1.5 years ago. I go up to Fresno a lot, once a month, and the county gave me a call. I went and looked at their possible of in their mortuary there, or the county mortuary. They had to clean it up because all the smells from formaldehyde and all the chemicals. And on the roof, they had 4 10-ton train units to add cooling in the mortuary there. And they have to keep it about 36 degrees and keep the bodies at a certain temperature so they won't rot for about 1 to 2 weeks while they're kept till they get their brothers and sisters and their family involved, whoever they belong to. And so we put our commercial C product on a train unit. There is 12-ton. Installed it for a 10-ton unit and clean up all the formaldehyde smells and all these smells was required by the state. So we had very good luck in doing that. And it broke down all these chemicals that were related. How particles are created. basically, when everything you do, it generates particles related, whether it be sitting or stopping, generates 100,000, standing 2,500,000, walking generates 10 million. There's particles everywhere in the world as we go, walking, sitting, or what we do, that's going to be airborne to create breathing problems throughout the house and as we go. Okay, then here's a picture of showing PCO technology. Again, PCO technology is photocatalytic oxidation, which is used in air scrubber, APCO, RGF. There's 10 of these products out there. And right here on the left picture, that is an air scrubber. An air scrubber is hooked up to the plenum here, as you can see. You got to drill 3 holes in there and screw it into the plenum. And it uses a UV light and a titanium cell to off gas to create hydrogen peroxide to clean the conditioned space. And on the right picture here, you see after 2 weeks of working, what it does to particulates right here on the screen. And then I'm going to show a picture of, the next one would be, here is GPS, the commercial wave seat unit. On the left, you see the commercial wave seat unit installed. And then which takes about 10 to 15 minutes to install. And on the right picture, you can see where the particulate, their count is down by about 60, 80%. We lowered a 0.3 down from 10,000 to 2,636, 0.25 down from 171 down to 93, and the 5.0 down from 98 down to 38. So our technology makes a big difference in doing the job to clean up the conditioned space. And then here, the next picture shows, addresses pathogens in a space. It shows the test of putting water in a wave unit on the left with bread and water, starting a test. After 14 days later, you can see the product where the wave unit is working in the jar where the bread doesn't have any bacteria, mold, or anything. On the right exhibit shows how the bread is eaten up by mold, bacteria, and everything. Any question about anything? Okay. Next picture shows wave technology treats biofilm on evaporator. Biofilm is put together by a number of things: bacteria, mold building up, VOCs, and it shows running for 3 weeks how clean it's going to keep the evaporator, and also the evaporator pan, or evaporator. Independent studies, the only product proven to kill pathogens in the space. On the left, it shows in the picture, E. coli, 15 minutes, 99.68%, MRSA, 30 minutes, TB, 60, neurovirus, 30 minutes, etc. It shows how fast it takes care of these pathogen problems. Next, it shows addressing bacteria in space, the home test, using a Petri dish. On the left, you got 3 days where you got water and whatnot in there, how it does, how the mold and bacteria is building up. And on the right side, using the wave technology, how the bacteria mold in the Petri dish is not growing, and actually it's killing it as you move along. Now we get into, that's just a little bit of format about the product and what it does. We're talking about the wave C unit because the product goes after the filter, before the evaporator coil, okay? So you take a wave C product, it goes up to 12 tons. if you have a gas, electric, or package unit on a roof, you want to take the product and put it in the supply plenum. And the product cleans itself. Like I said, it goes up to 12 tons. The voltage here, as you can see, it could be like duct mounted or on the supply plenum. The voltage goes from 24 volt to, and has a universal relay in it. So once you hook it up hot, you take the black and white wire, hook it up hot, that way it runs constantly. I was asked by a homeowner once, if the product, the Wave R or the C, is hooked up constantly, how much does it cost to run it a month? Less than $1. So you can hook the product up and it go from 24 volt, 120, 220, 240, switch right over. What do you hook it up to? And you see on the front, it's got a weatherproof housing. So that way, if you hook in a supply plenum, hook it up, and the weatherproof housing will keep it from rain, snow, or whatever from contaminating the unit. And also, too, it cleans itself. The product, every 3 days, it has a little rotator that goes on the top of the clean the dirt and dust off the brushes, and that way it's running constantly. And then it's got a setup for alarms too, and it's UL listed. Like I said, it goes up to 12 tons. Here's some benefits. Reduces particles, no sunbeam, reduces cooking odors, VOCs, etc. Like I said, it will kill mold, bacteria, viruses. Any smoke in your house or commercial building, it will clean it out. Reduces ventilation requirements. We did a job down at the harbor down in San Pedro. It was a Homeland Security building. I know somebody runs ACO down here, so they managed to get the job and put these in. And they could reduce their fresh air intake by like 70%. So by doing that, they could cut down on their energy bill. And we had to get this job. It was 180 ton, and we put about 15 units in. And so we had to get this done by our engineer at the company. So then we get in, like I said, ventilation requirements, reduces allergens, reduces dust requirements, dirty sock syndrome, the whole thing. Takeaways. There's no other indoor air quality product like this with the new technology. The Wave C is perfect for replacements for any duct mounted PLC technology. It is a good product to use year after year. Great application for schools, university offices. And right now, since everybody knows about COVID, of course, and it really hit in March, right now, Los Angeles Unified School District, I'm working with them to put 1,000 units in we're working on right now. And throughout the state, some of the colleges, so Sequoia College and Visalia, they about to put about 80 units in the spring. And then they did a lot up in Sacramento and San Diego, and a lot of junior colleges putting in too. I'm getting a lot of calls on this. So it's really expanding for governmental businesses too, buildings, the state, county, etc. Here's some, now would anybody have any question on the Wave C so far for the commercial application?
A general question,
I have a
Kim.
question.
Yes.
Sorry, Christy.
Go ahead, Trina.
Do you recommend to run the fan for 24 hours then when someone's asking how long should we run the fan, or just while
Well,
it's
good
occupied?
question. When you first, let's say, install it in a residential application, commercial, I would run it to clean up the atmosphere. And in a residential, you run it for about 2 to 3 hours. It's going to clean up the house very well. And so they run it one day, maybe 4 or 5 hours, and the next day, within 24 hours, you're going to see the house totally cleaned up from the evaporator pan, the evaporator all the way through the conditioned space, the restrooms, kitchen. It's going to pull dust right off the couch. and hair off your carpet if you got it.
It's like, so I always tell people, like, you have to remember when we're putting things in your house, it's not going to go around and like clean up all the dust out of your house. You're saying that this will actually clean that dust up.
Yes, it would sure help.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like I said, I got 2 little dogs, and it would pull the hair up, off the couch and around too. So
Crazy.
good question.
With the commercial application, then what is our recommendation then? Run it a few hours a day?
Oh yeah, run it when the first couple hours, like 4 or 5 hours a day to clean everything up. Then they should be set. And my wife works with her sister, but she gets home about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She comes in and just turns on the fan for about an hour, and it just cleans the whole house for the day.
So do you folks have your own control for cycling the fan 2 hours or 4 hours or whatever is necessary?
Yeah, for every day or every other day, just whatever they're comfortable with. Like you said, there's settings to run a couple hours a day. Yes.
Okay, but you have a control. You have a control that we can wire in that we can adjust for however long the customer wants to run their fan.
Do you mean we have a control on the unit?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a timer on the fan or a thermostat.
No, we don't. You would just dial it in with the timer. We got 2 extra wires on it that are 24 volt, so they can just take it and hook it straight into the thermostat. Yes.
Okay. Like an occupied panel or something.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, Chrissy.
Okay. Thank you.
Mine was answered. All good.
The next slide shows.
Hang on. We do have one. Sorry, we got somebody else that I didn't realize was in here.
Sure.
If there are a number of air handlers, hang on, let me get back to the thing. If there are a number of air handlers pulling from the same air above the T-bar ceiling, could we install 1 or 2 of these units?
You mean in each air handler?
Let's see. In each air handler, Jason? Let me read it again and see if it makes more sense. Maybe I just read it. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I missed the question. So in your question, Jason, if there are a number of air handlers pulling from the same air above the T-bar ceiling, could we install 1 or 2 of these units, or do we need to install them after the fan?
How many tonnage unit will we be talking about?
How many tons, Jason? Can you hear me? 2 to 3 tons.
Oh, 2 to 3 tons per handler?
Yes.
Yeah, you 2 to 3 tons. Yeah, you might want to look at putting a wave R on each one. Okay.
Okay, so putting on a wave R to each one. Does that answer your question, Jason? Yes. Okay, we're good.
Everything goes into the supply, right? Okay. So next, the wave C we just discussed. We talked about the wave R. The wave R is probably like 8 out of 10 sales. Okay. And reason being is it goes up to 6 tons. It's built for residential and for package units on a row. So we sell quite a few. And the wave R, just to share a little information, California is really known for the fires. It's unfortunate. Not this last fall, but a year ago, I live in Thousand Oaks near Malibu, and it's ground zero down here for fires. And I had the pleasure of staying up all night watering my house down, but we're past that. But then there's 4 or 5 contractors live around me, and then they started putting the Wave R unit in a bunch of residential, and they got it down where they can install it in 3 minutes. That's how fast it could be installed. So anyway, going to the Wave R, it goes up to 6 ton, universal mounting. It's got magnets on the side of it, and you pull the front of the furnace off, on a residential application. It's got 2 magnets on the bottom. Put the magnets on the side to put it in. Can everybody see me?
Yep.
If you want to wait 1 minute, let me get a wave R and show it to you. Give me 2 minutes.
Don't you expect us to do all these?
He said 3.
minutes. Oh.
I'll give you 3.5. And that includes drive time and getting on the roof and putting the unit back together.
Yeah, putting the ladder up.
Yes, yes.
Listening, Kyle, you broke.
Hey, no breaking ceiling tile.
Yeah, easy stuff. You ever taken a tile out?
No, I heard they're a pain in the ass, though.
They can be.
Here we go. I use Zoom a lot for these classes, and also Teams. Teams, you can take like 1/4 of the screen to see. Can everybody see this product?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Wave R. Got the magnets underneath. Over that way with the furnace, take the magnets, just put on the side, the bottom of blower housing. And then you want the air to brush, blow over the 2 brushes. One's negative, one's positive, and then the ions will go out to condition space. The wave R produces 160 million ions. And then as far as electrical, it will go from 24 volt, 12240, and switch right over. Once you take the black wire and the white wire and hook it up hot, we switch right over. It's easy to do. I got this hooked up to 110. That way I can show the customers how it works. When you plug it in, here is the little lever that goes back and forth. So once you go in, let's say, a homeowner's house and set it, every 3 days, the little lever is going to go back and forth and knock the dirt and dust off the brushes. That way it's clean. And then, so basically, you take it, install the product after the filter, before the evaporator coil, and you're set. It's plug and play. And it's set up automatically, clean every 3 days, and you go about your business. Any questions so far?
Nope.
Would everybody like to see how the little lever works? Let me plug it in a minute.
Little portable ones.
Put it in the system.
People put them in their car, plug them in, and get rid of odor. It's like smoke odors and stuff.
Here's how the little lever works back and forth. It just knocks the dirt and dust off. Right like this.
Oh.
Give you an idea. And then so we talked about the electrical, and here is here's the 2 24 volt wires. That way you can run a wire to a thermostat for an alarm, or hook it into the when the special timing when they want it or whatever. Or for example, like here's a green there's an LED that comes on, it's green, that shows when it's running constantly. Where somebody had a horizontal furnace in the attic, so they ran one of these wires down to the thermostat and put a green LED on it. That way you can see when it's running constantly. Or somebody's information in the house. And then rolling on, let's see, universal mounting. Key takeaways. For self-cleaning indoor air quality product. Target market, any ducted residential system or package unit, maintenance free. Other technology require replacement parts. proactive whole house purification. No UV lights. You don't have to change parts or worry about changing UV lights or titanium cells out. The only competitor is PCO technology. That's about it. Features like world's flexible mounting. That's the way I'm going back. Excuse me. Any questions about the WaveR?
Do you have a preference between the C or the R? Can we put the R? I know the R is up to 6 tons and the C is 12 tons, but does it matter which application? Do we not ever want to put the C in a 6 ton or?
Basically, all residential up to 6 ton, of course, and our package units up to 6 ton, always put the WaveR, because there's a difference in cost too. Because when you go from 6 ton to C, difference cost, that way it's more competitive, doing its job. And the WaveR works fine up to 6 ton, and you can put it in 3 minutes. Install it. When you get the Wave C, a commercial unit like a 10 ton, you're gonna have to put in the package unit. It probably takes about 10 to 15 minutes to install. It's gonna be hard. It's on the roof. And is your company primary residential or commercial?
We do some light commercial. It's mostly commercial companies that have been asking for this product. We really haven't had as much residential, surprisingly.
Okay, sure. So on the commercial application, then yeah, you're going to be putting a package. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Again, the package units up to 6 tons, just put the WaveR in. They just slide it right in the blower compartment right there.
Okay.
And then the C takes about 10 to 15 minutes and you're done. So everything works pretty quick.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So that's the WaveR. Then we go to the Wave M. And somebody in an email the other day, Christy mentioned about cassette for mounting. We talk about that too, okay?
Okay, thank you.
For the Wave M, we call this the stripple bar. And we talk about this, world's first flexible ion bar. Let me grab that since we can see it too. Can everybody see the bar? All right. Hello?
Yeah.
There you are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we see the bar?
Mm-hmm.
It's like this. It's 18 inches long. It's got 8 brushes on it, and it puts out 250 million ions. Here's the electrical hookup, which goes from 24 volt 110 to 265 volt up to 270. And here's your 2 wires. You just right here, you just hook it up hot. So the bar is going to be used for ductless mini splits for the evaporator and tanks, and also ice machines. So the bar, when you use it for an evaporator, go up to 3.5 ton, and the plastic cover on the evaporator, you will lift that up. It's got that dead space there. You would take it and mount it here, right here on the bar. You got, this would come off the white strip, and then you would glue that down, and this has Velcro. And that way you take it on and off. And then you put the Velcro right there, hook it up. And here's the universal relay. You hook it up, and then you hook your 2 wires. It's got A, B, C, D hook up on the ductless mini split. You hook it up, wire it right there. And then what this does is the reducing ions, the blower pulls the ions down through the evaporator, cleaning it through the conditioned space back through the return, okay? As like I said, use a lot of evaporators. P-TACs, for example, Goodman puts out a P-TAC over here in Ventura. they got Crown Valley Hotel. I get a little story. It's got 30 rooms that face the ocean. You got that lovely ocean air that comes into the rooms in the morning and stinks up the room, or smells. That's a better word. We put the strip, the wave M, on the P-tax, and the reason they use ours, it goes up to 265 volt. They didn't have anything else that worked, and it clean the air in the morning for about, just turn on for an hour, clean the air for the day. And then again, this is no replacement parts, simple maintenance. There is one thing about maintenance though. We got the strip up here. It's got 8 brushes. Every 3 to 4 months, you're gonna clean the dirt and the dust off the brushes. What you do, you take a can of air like you do on your computer and just blow the dirt and dust right off with a can of air, and that's all there is to it. Any questions so far?
Nope.
Hello?
No questions in the chat? No questions from anybody over there? We're good.
Okay, good. Because the R's, I don't mean it's more complicated, used for different items. Okay, applications. We were talking about ductless system, residential mini split indoor coils, VRF coils, duct AC, commercial AC, and industrial AC and transport. Ice machines like we're talking about, put it right on the coil. Let me get to something here. Okay, we're talking about cassettes, okay? Sometimes cassettes are different sizes. It's showing a picture of the wave in here. Can you see part of it? What is, if the cassette's only like a foot long or something, you can take the wave M, and can everybody see the wave M all right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
turn it back on itself and just kind of tape it down, electrical tape like this. Tape it down. You still want the ions to be in the circle here, be able to produce the ions. You tape it down, and it's going to be sitting like this. We went right there. We went from 18 inches to 12, and you can be hooked in a cassette just like this, and you still get the full maximization of the ions doing the job too. So that way, in a cassette, if it's only 12 inches long, we could put that in and make it work. Any question on that?
Does that make sense, Steve? Does that answer your question? Oh, can you hear me, Steve? Jet, can you hear me?
I think they're muted on their end.
Yeah, let me. Give me a thumbs up if it answered your question. Hey. Sorry.
Can you see it all right?
Yeah, we can see yours. We're just waiting to see if we got a question. Jason, you got any questions so far?
Run out there real quick. To make sure that that was like the question. Sorry, we're gonna go confirm that the question has been answered.
Whatever we need to do. Thank you.
And Kim, just so I can't imagine that there's no lights on this, right? So as opposed to a UV light, we're not going to see any lights on this M application, right?
No.
Is our volume on?
Yeah, there we
There you
go.
There we go.
So does it hook on the supply side?
Yeah, the R, you want to put the R between the filter and the evaporator coil. So you want it to go right in the blower compartment.
Okay. All right, now we can. We're in business.
Should I go with the Wave M again, or?
No. We're good.
We're all set. Good. Okay. Should I go forward then?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank
Yes.
you. Then key takeaways from the Wave M. Flexible ion bar. Wave M addresses huge market problems when you can't use the, as you know, the C or the R. Very versatile. Competitive technologies are just UV lights out there. And see here, it shows mini split application. The picture up here goes right on that dead space up there. The strip. Okay. And then it shows in the ice machine up the evaporator here. Any questions? We're talking about the ceiling. Any questions on the Wave C? We can open up for any questions you want. The Wave R or the M, we can chat about that for a while if you want. I'll take any question you got.
You guys have anything? I want to know about the magnet thing.
Oh, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Since we live in California and we have this new growing industry, they have a problem with mold and stuff building up on their mini splits, the fan blades and stuff. Is this going to help kind of control that mold or cut it down?
You say the new growing industry, marijuana.
Yeah, the indoor growers, the marijuana growers.
Yeah, what do in the marijuana growing facilities, they produce a white mold, don't they? That would get rid of the white mold. What I understand is because they put quite a few out products down in Los Angeles, downtown. They got a lot of that down there. But anyway, there's the little mites that show up on the plants.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get rid of organisms like mites, but as and regarding the pathogens, mold, and all that stuff, it gets rid of all that.
Okay.
Because I was asked, does it get rid of organisms like mites? And we don't. It doesn't do that.
More concerned with mold buildup or
Sure.
on the lower wheel of the mini split. So if that would cut that down.
Yes, it would. And I was just asked by a guy up in it come out of Santa Barbara, some growing house there, and they asked about that white mold. It would get rid of that too because they see it build up on the plants. Mm-hmm. Any other questions, please?
Nope.
Any other questions? We're good?
No, I think
Does not look like it. We're good.
Okay, good. So selling the product. Like I said, I spent some time with my friends, company with the techs. Let's sell it to the residential. Techs would tell me they go out and fix a motor. And we provide some literature, ladies and gentlemen, a 6-page piece of literature for the homeowner, commercial building, and a trifold. And I can send you, starting today, as much literature as you want to help your business go forward and sell iWave. And then I got some other things we get to too. I can email you. So the techs would tell me they would be fixing a fan or motor and give Mrs. Jones a piece of literature and ask if they could review it while they're doing this. And then they go and talk to them after they're fixing something about their indoor air quality. And they would say the first question they would ask is, anybody in your family have allergies? And that would open up for discussion. And then to qualify to allergies, what we could do about it. And another question was asked, this was put together a while back, when you go out to a home, let's say fix the motor, or then you might take Mrs. Jones and walk through her home or commercial building and talk about the home. To qualify it, you go look at the evaporator pan. For number one, to qualify setting them up to buy a Wave product, I noticed that there's water in your evaporator pan, there's bacteria building up. You got the dirty sock syndrome, which evaporator pan and evaporator smell. Then you go to the conditioned space, you go to restrooms, you can smell restroom smells. Let's use that word here. You go to cooking, kitchen, smell cooking smells, whatever. In the living room, you see dirt and dust. And then all homes, commercial buildings have VOCs, chemicals that are the sink. I have even, you might have Drano in there or something. and there's something other smells. And then you have animals too. And by going through the home, you have something to talk about to the homeowner to set up to start talking about your product to sell it. Now it's going to clean up all pathogens, and allergens, VOCs, and dirt and dust to clean the whole home, make the conditioned space that much more suitable for your family, for health reasons, and breathing too. Kind of a whole holistic way of going about something. Any questions on anything here? Okay, thank you. Then we get into selling commercial building. A commercial, a little bit different. You probably deal with an engineer or the building owner or maintenance guy. You won't deal with a family of 3, 4 people. You're dealing with one. In some commercial buildings, I went to a couple of them. They asked me to go on the roof, so I did. So you want to review the equipment, see what size it is and what you're getting into. And if you look at a commercial building where the plenum is, when I went to the Fresno County morgue, they said, you want to take a tour? So we went and looked at the top of the building, the 4 train units. They said, you want to take the extended tour? So we went inside the morgue, and there's 70 bodies in the morgue itself. It's 36 degrees. You want to keep going? So we went where the in the morgue where you go, they do the examination, then they cover the bodies up. But I just walked through and went on home. But anyway, so you want to review the equipment you're dealing with, discuss problem you're trying to solve. Is it chemicals you're trying to solve in the commercial building? Chemical, dirt, dust, particles? Is it certain smells, VOCs, pathogens, and allergens? What are we trying to do? Then you get into pathogens and VOCs, talking about it. That's about the commercial end right there, what you're going to be doing. Any question on qualifying that for commercial building?
No.
Okay. Any, before I look at my name here, any more questions about anything what we discussed on the presentation on what it does to pathogens, allergens, or VOCs, or dirt and dust, or the wave R itself, the C or the M?
So if we get the customer that actually asks us, is this going to solve my problem for my air to qualify for the COVID-19? Like specifically, we get a lot of dentists that are wanting to clean the air in their office and qualify to open up. Is it going to solve that problem?
Yeah, it will help clean the air, and for coronaviruses, dirt, dust, they clean it up so they have more confidence in a clean building that's more appetizing to the customers coming in. Yes.
Okay.
Is this, you said, dental office?
Yeah, we get a lot of dentists right now that are having problems with air movement and bringing fresh air in. They all seem to be looking online at all these ways of solving the problem. There doesn't seem to be any set rules on it, but they're worried about the COVID-19, and if this kills that bacteria or virus, we can actually.
We got a flyer. It says dentist and what it would do for him. Want me to email that to you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please.
I can do that, no problem. I gotta look that up, but down at the bottom here, it shows my name. You see my email?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Copy the email, and if wanted, I can send you all the testing we've done in hospitals, retirement homes. There's about 8 tests. I can send you a sample of the literature. I can send you telling more in volume about the wave C, the wave R, and the wave M. It's about 6 emails. I can deliver that today. And then that dentist flyer, I got to look it up. I do have it, okay?
Sure.
And I can send that to you. And if wanted, I can mail you up some literature today.
Great, thank you.
We appreciate that.
So any more questions, I'd be glad to answer. Or if you want to email me today, your contact information, who to send the literature, and your email, who to send the test results and other literature by email, I can do that too.
Yeah, I'll send you an email, Kim. Thank you. I really appreciate you doing this. Yeah, we've had lots of questions about which direction to go and what's good and what's not. So this gives us some good things to talk about. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Here's my phone number if you want to take that. There's a guy called Russell Ear in Los Angeles. He calls me 3 times a week, which is fine. I told him, call me from 7 to 7. After that, I've got to have dinner with my wife.
Okay.
My kid, he's grown. He's in Denver, so he's got his own world now. So just call me whenever you want to be glad to answer, because he just installed 40 Cs and he installed waves. Every time he gets into something, he calls about the question. And he called about wave Cs. How do we put them? So I sent him a picture of how to, 4 or 5 of them installed on a plenum, which was 50 ton, 60 ton. So
Cool. Great. Thank you.
Any questions you want, just email or call. Yes, sir.
Okay.
We have a question that came from the guys out back. If it's absolutely impossible for us to get it on the supply side of the system, can we put it on the return?
See, the problem is return. The filter is going to pick up everything.
Mm-hmm.
And because if it's past the filter, it'll work, but before the filter, it won't work.
Yeah, he's saying in the blower compartment. Right.
Oh, you don't want
Yeah, the blower compartment. If it's past the filter, for the evaporator core, or go for the plenum.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Got it.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. Send me your contact information. It works for you now. I'll give you everything. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Very much, Christina and Steve.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Have a good weekend.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
All
Christine.
right.
Thank you, Christy.
Have a great day.
Hang on a second.